Can I have a roll call, please?
Fitch, here. Clifton.
Here.
Stanchick. Here.
All present. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So, I'll second.
Motion by Diane, second by Heather. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we are entering here to have a public hearing for the FY25 Madison County budget. Shelley has a presentation for us, so everything's been published as required.
It has, yes.
Okay, I will, and any written comments have been
I've
distributed?
received none.
Okay, all right, I'll let you go ahead and go.
All right. Okay, so this is just a snapshot of the county budget. This goes over the total revenue that are included in this year's budget, $22.6 million. Total expenditures, $25.5 million. Property taxes levied, the countywide levy, this includes the general supplemental, and the debt service levy, will be at $5.36 per thousand, with that bringing in $6.1 million in property taxes. The rural levy is gonna be at $3.68932 per thousand, bringing in $2.9 million for a total property taxes levied of $9.1 million. These are evaluations, last year to this year. Remember, valuations are always a year behind. So last year, the countywide valuation, and this year's countywide valuation, and then the total dollars levied. Last year was 5.8, this year was 6.1 for countywide. For rural was 2.8, and for rural this year is 2.9. So that's where those dollars come into play. This is our debt service schedule. This goes over all of our debt that we have for the county. The Dome project balance is $270,500, principal $260, and interest of $10.5, and we have 3 years remaining on that. That is paid out of local option sales tax revenue. The annex building purchase, we still owe $125,880 on that, with 3 years remaining. That's paid out of debt service. The E911 radio project, we still owe $792,257. We have 3 years remaining on that, and that is also paid with debt service. So you can see the Dome project, the annex, and the E911 radio project will all be finished. Their last payment will be June 30 of 2027. The construction project, this is our GO bond money. We still owe $5.5 million on that one, with 11 years left, and that's paid out of TIF revenue. This is just a snapshot of where we get our revenue from. You can see taxes levied on property, that's that same $9.1 million. We have charges for services, uses of money, so this is just a pie chart to show you where we get our money from. This is expenditures, so this is where most of our money is spent. As you can see, 43% of it goes to roads and transportation, 21% of it is going to public safety and legal services. And then these are just Madison County budget considerations. These are the rollback numbers. So residential rollback did decrease. It was at 54%, and now it's at 46%. Agricultural is at 71%, and then commercial industrial railroad is at 90%.
Shelley, would you mind explaining, since the public's here, what that means, what a rollback is?
Yep, so they take your assessed value and they multiply it by what the rollback is, and that gives you your taxable value. So your levies are based on your taxable value. So taxable valuations have increased by over $89 million from last year to this year. Tax increment financing, that's anything that we have in TIF. Right now, that's all of the Maxburg wind turbines. Their current value is $91 million. Ending fund balances, that's what we work through as we're working through budgets. We would like to see that number anywhere between 20 and 25%. That's just so we have a carryover balance in those funds to be able to cover us until people start paying their property taxes in September. So it just covers us from July to September. So if anybody wants copies of anything, I'm happy to email those to you, but that's just our contact information for anybody that needs it.
Okay. Thank you, Shelley. At this time in our public hearing, it's time for public comment, so if anyone wishes to speak, please raise your hand and we'll call you to the podium. Yes. Kevin. State your name and address for the record at the podium. Thanks, Shelley.
Kevin Charter, 1411 Warren Avenue. I want to thank you for your time tonight. Kind of maybe just recap a little bit, kind of where we've a little bit been. We had the first hearing back on April 1st, and kind of the hot topics then were the wage and salary increases, the otter stipend, and 100K in voting machines. There was another meeting then called on April 5th, and it was discussed then about removing the voting machines and the 100K and moving the 5K and the auditor stipend to another budget category. Sounded like possibly maybe medical examiners. I'm not certain if that's where it ended up. And then sounded like there was going to be some reallocating monies in overfunded medical benefits. If we could look at on April 9th, which would have been a regular supervisors meeting, the sheriff, or the supervisors met and elected official salary increases were approved at that meeting. And so looking at what I'm seeing, looks like we gave anywhere from a 3.5% to a 5% salary increase across the elected officials. And that was approved by both Supervisor Spitz and Clifton. Supervisor Stansel voted no to that. That brings us to tonight. And so we have the opportunity to come here for a second hearing. I would like to come to say that I think we did probably half sharpened our pencil. I think you did some of what the public asked. We took the voting machines out of the budget. We moved the stipend to another budget center, it sounds like. But I think one of the things that still concerns me is that we still are seeing an increase in our property taxes. And we also are still seeing, I think, from my perspective, is still probably a significant increase in our elected official salaries. Nothing against having an increase, but as we talked back in the first meeting, I think that, you know, most were getting a 0 to 2% increase in the corporate world, and we're still seem to hover up above that consistently. And this is the second year in a row that the taxpayers have come to you, pleading with you to take that into account. Not saying you didn't take it into account, but I think that we still have gone plenty high. So supposedly that was approved on April 9th at your supervisors meeting, but I don't know that that means that that's final, because the final budget hasn't been approved yet. So that doesn't mean, from my perspective, that that still couldn't be retracted or reevaluated and put more back in alignment, because last year we had a significant increase in our salaries. And so I think we're still plenty high with them again this year. And everybody has to tighten down their belt. The county is no different in their financial budget as anybody else is personally. And I think as a taxpayers, you're continually wanting to strap the taxpayers more than they probably deserve to have to put out in a year, especially in the times that we live with right now. When you look across everything, how expensive it is. I mean, food's expensive, gas is expensive. I mean, about everything you look at is expensive. And I understand that we've got county expenditures that are expensive as well. But I would ask that you go back to the drawing board a little bit, sharpen up your pencil once again before you do a final improvement on it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else wish to speak? And everybody go once. All right, if there's no one else that wishes to speak at this time, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carries, we are adjourned, thank you everybody.